Years before Aidan Roberts and Will Bolsey, there was a British climber who was climbing the hardest boulders in the world. But most people have never heard of him. In the early 2000s, this climber was thought of as one of the strongest climbers in the world, yet he has been glossed over in the history books. He was a mysterious character, but unlike underground crushers like Griffin Whiteside, this climber did publicize the fact that he had climbed one of the hardest boulders in the world. But there was no video recording of the ascent, and no one had seen him climbing. In fact, when he went back for a photo shoot on the boulder, he couldn't even pull onto it. The climber's name is John Gaskins, and the boulder was named Shadow Play. John made the first ascent of the problem in 2004 and graded it V15. Celebrated for his achievements at the time, John Gaskins took British climbing to the next level by establishing 3 V15 boulders in the UK between 2002 and 2004, and was looked up to as an inspiration by many climbers. But did he even climb Shadow Play? Is he actually lying about his ascents? Dan Varian, co-founder of Beastmaker and prolific first ascensionist in the UK, is one who believes John is lying.
Being a local, I've had John's unobtainable ascents hanging over my climbing my whole life. At first, they were a huge inspiration, but after 15 years of smoke and mirrors, it's something which I'm jaded with now.
Questions were asked about Gaskins' honesty before Gaskins even climbed Shadow Play. The first person to publicly doubt Gaskins was German climber Markus Bach. Bach made the first ascent of Gossip in the Frankenjura and graded the problem V15 in 2002. Gossip was therefore one of the first V15s in the world. In 2004, Gaskins visited the Frankenjura and claimed the second ascent of Gossip. Markus Bach was the one who showed Gaskins the boulder, but subsequently publicly disputed that Gaskins had climbed Gossip.
I showed him Gossip and the sequence how to climb it. I write you this before any news report from John about his success arrived you. And I write in the name of all who have done hard stuff here and tried Gossip for a long time. We are all the same opinion. It is not possible that he has done it.
Gaskins replied to Bach by saying,
I have nothing to gain from claiming things I haven't done. I did the problems in the Frankenjura purely for myself, as with everything that I have done. I am saddened that people now wish to maliciously claim, without any foundation, that I have not climbed these things.
In Britain, most people took Gaskins' side. But as the years went on, the mystery deepened. Questions were raised about the sequence Gaskins used to climb Shadow Play. Attempts were made to meet up with Gaskins to clear up the mystery, but Gaskins disappeared into the ether like the Scarlet Pimpernel.
Is he in heaven? Or is he in hell? That damn elusive Pimpernel.
Sightings of Gaskins at the crag were like spotting Elvis or Tupac. 9 years after his ascent of Shadow Play, John Gaskins was interviewed by Simon Lee, where he discussed his first ascents and answered questions about them. For Dan Varian, this was the final nail in the coffin.
John worked Shadow Play for years, yet he struggled to remember the moves.
Can you just sort of talk through the moves on it?
I can't remember a huge amount about them.
Right.
The interview well and truly burst the myth. John's face winces worse than Prince Andrew's when asked about it in that interview.
It was almost impossible for me to sweat.
Very soon after he claimed the climb, he went back to get photos and couldn't pull on anywhere, meaning form never varies that wildly. If I'm not ill, then at worst, I'll be doing huge links on something I've just done, and it's not uncommon to reclimb the whole thing. I can't stress enough how consistent good climbers' form is as a rule. True strength doesn't disappear on an afternoon and come back in the morning.
The lasting effect Gaskins had on British bouldering in the years after he climbed Shadow Play has been huge. When John Gaskins established his V15 climbs, it was at a time when V15 was the cutting edge and a grade rarely achieved. It put Gaskins at the top of the sport along with legends like Fred Nicole, and many elite climbers went to try his climbs. But Gaskins' 3 V15 first ascents have never been repeated. In fact, many of Gaskins' first ascents remain unrepeated. British climbers at the time judged themselves against Gaskins' test pieces. And as they couldn't piece together the puzzles or even pull on to the boulders in many cases, they thought themselves to be not good enough to climb Fee 15.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're stuck! We're stuck!
Dan Varian explained in 2019.
John is the reason I have always capped my grades in the UK, to effectively give his problems room to breathe. If I were to give anything 8C but not have repeated John's problems despite trying them, I'd be a fraud to myself.
So from 2004 to 2020, hard new boulders were established in the UK, but only one was graded harder than Fee 14. As John Gaskins' shadow loomed large over British climbing, it would take a new generation of British boulderers to break through the V14 barrier, as predicted by Ali Tor.
If they can both get over this whole undergrading British thing, then I think both of them will be outperforming everyone and doing some of the hardest things in the world.
Aidan Roberts and Will Bosey established new V15, V16, and V17 boulders in the UK. The truth about Gaskins' disputed ascents will never be clear-cut. There is no evidence either way, just Gaskins' word and many stories about why he shouldn't be trusted. There is video footage of Gaskins climbing relatively hard problems, but no video recordings or witnesses of his V14 or V15 ascents. Opinions have been polarized over the years, and due to the controversy surrounding him, Gaskins' unrepeated V15 ascents have been left out of UK guidebooks. The legacy Gaskins leaves is, like the man himself, a mystery.